Russia escalates its attacks on Ukraine, we hear from a Rochester doctor on the front lines. Plus, the community coming together to support a 3-year-old boy injured in a Rochester shooting. And a Central New York superintendent in trouble after a crowd surfing incident and a drunk driving arrest.
Well, it's been some time since we saw 70 degrees a couple days this week, and then it's back into the cooler air for the weekend. More coming up tonight.
From your breaking news and weather authority on Fox Rochester, this is 13 WHAM News at 10.
As the war intensifies in Ukraine, volunteers say the need is growing to support military efforts there.
I want people to know that the war is still happening. I mean, innocent people are dying on a daily basis.
Good evening. I'm Matt Malloy. Doug has the night off. Russia retaliating today, unleashing its most widespread attacks against Ukraine in months. 84 missiles and more than 20 drones launched at targets in residential areas of Ukraine, killing at least 14 and injuring nearly 100 people across that country. Russia says the massive attack was in response to an explosion at a major Russian logistics route it claims was carried out by Ukraine. The wave of Russian missiles coming in the middle of the Monday morning rush hour.
My hands are trembling as I've just seen how the missile was flying overhead, and I heard that sound.
Terrifying moments there. Back here at home, 13 WHAM's Carla Rogner speaking with a Rochester native on the ground in Ukraine about today's developments, along with how people in Rochester can continue to support the war efforts there. Carla, good evening.
Yeah, Matt, that's right. The Rochester area is home to a large population of Ukrainian Americans, many of whom still have family members in the country. I caught up with an ER doctor from Rochester this afternoon who says she saw Russia's aggression firsthand this morning.
Ukraine was hit really, really hard, and it was absolutely terrifying.
Tanya Bucherka is in the final stretch of her third mission trip to Ukraine. She woke up this morning to the sound of war.
I was woken up by a rocket being struck down over the house that I'm currently staying at, so that was terrifying, but we were without power and water for most of the day.
The ER doctor was born and raised in Rochester's Ukrainian American community. She's been helping train doctors on emergency equipment to use on the front lines.
Doctors that are used to being in the ICU are now going to the front lines and doing evacuations. Everybody is doing what they can to help, and that has not changed throughout the trips.
As she prepares to return to the U.S., she leaves behind dozens of family members and other Ukrainians she says continue to have hope.
Just today, I mean, a playground was struck, school buildings have been struck, residential buildings have been struck, and that we need to all continue supporting Ukraine because without all of their help, they will not win.
Back in Rochester, the organization Rock Maidan has been sending donations to the Ukrainian military for the last 10 months.
We need people to not lose sight of who we are and what we need.
Volunteer Darka Harishkiu says much of her family lives in Ukraine. She hopes people here continue to pay attention to the war.
I worry for my family, but I worry for all the families. It's just a horrific time, and it's such an unthinkable act of aggression.
And as the Ukrainian military prepares for war this winter, Rock Maidan is specifically looking for items that will keep them warm, like sleeping bags and warm clothes. We will have more details on how to donate and the specific items they're looking for at 13wham.com. Matt?
Carla, thank you. Dozens are in our community coming out this evening to show support for the 3-year-old boy who was shot while sitting in his car seat last month. The family of Marlo Joseph says he is on the road to recovery after being caught in that crossfire of a shootout on North Clinton Avenue on September 29th. He is now off a ventilator and breathing on his own. Riders from all over the city coming out to ride around Golisano Children's Hospital where Marlo is recovering.
It's phenomenal when you see folks that want to project love into the community and change the narrative. And this is what these guys are doing by riding for Marlo today.
For your support, we got your back. No family should have to deal with this. There's a senseless act.
There's no way this should have ever happened, and we're just showing that we actually care, and we want to show our support as humans and Rochesterians for your family in this dark time.
2 people have been charged in connection to that shooting that injured that boy. This is the first year that Indigenous Peoples Day was replaced with Columbus Day in the city of Rochester. Today, Mayor Malik Evans joined members of the Haudenosaunee to plant a white pine tree of peace near the Cobbs Hill Reservoir. Other cities across the country honoring Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day, or both. Some hosting annual parades like New York City and Chicago. The Biden administration signing a proclamation last year to formally recognize Indigenous Peoples Day.
And no matter what you had going on today, it was a gorgeous day for your outdoor activities. A little bit cloudy early in the day, but we had plenty of sunshine through the afternoon. Even though the temperatures weren't really warm by any stretch, we were in the mid-50s. Still a nice day overall. Lower 60s south of town in the valleys, 64 in Elmira, 56 in the city, and 61 down in Dansville. But high pressure clearing things out. The sky free of clouds now, and it'll stay that way through much of the day tomorrow. Temperatures right now in the lower 40s, upper 30s for some areas just south of town. The temperatures will really kind of stay right about there. We're close to the dew point now, and with that clearing sky, it's going to be a very calm night tonight. Winds south 3 to 8 miles an hour. Checking out the bus stop forecast for the morning. Grab a jacket for the stop in the morning. Sunny skies early. You can take that jacket off by the time you're getting home, though. 70 degrees by then. A lot of sunshine. We'll show you when some rain returns to the forecast here in just a couple minutes.
John, thank you. The man accused of murdering a woman who was found in an alleyway last month pleading not guilty in court today. A 54-year-old Ronald Lagasse is charged with killing 65-year-old Mary Simser. Police say she was found on Pierce Street and died from blunt force trauma to the head and neck, and that she had also been sexually assaulted. Lagasse, a level 3 sex offender, was convicted of rape in 1997. He remains at the Monroe County Jail tonight without the possibility of bail. We are less than a month away from Election Day, and the campaigns are heating up here at home and across the country. Jackie Napier spoke with the 2 candidates today who are vying for the 25th congressional seat and talking about gun violence in the city.
During his time as Rochester's police chief, LaRon Singletary embraced efforts to reduce the number of illegal guns on the streets. However, the Republican candidate argues banning assault weapons will only penalize law-abiding citizens.
We've had 66 homicides this year, 81 homicides last year, and within the last 2 years, we've had 700 plus people shot. So there needs to be some sort of accountability and a calling out of the policies that have been implemented right here in New York. And these policies are costing people their lives.
His challenger, Democratic Congressman Joe Morelli, is running for a 3rd term. He's always been a vocal supporter of the ban on assault weapons to help stem the tide of violence.
Gun violence is at levels that are unacceptable. We have to do everything we can to make sure we eliminate semi-automatic assault weapons from our streets, that we have background checks universally in America.
Singletary believes that he has name recognition in the Rochester community, but acknowledges that running against an incumbent presents challenges.
We have done some polling. It shows the race pretty close. Just like I think races across the country, the issues are very important.
I just think it's who's best able to represent the interests of this community on a whole host of issues, whether it's the fundamental right of women to reproductive health, whether it's getting illegal guns off our streets, or whether it's reducing costs like we have done as it relates to prescription drugs and the Medicare program, and who really is able to identify with most people in this community and represent them.
Jacqueline Napier, 13 WHAM News.
Now to a shooting outside of the home of GOP gubernatorial candidate Lee Zeldin. 2 teenagers were shot outside of Zeldin's home on Long Island. They were walking down the street on the congressman's block at the time. Police say a car pulled up, opening fire. Those 2 teens ran towards Zeldin's home to seek cover. Zeldin says his 2 16-year-old daughters were at home during that shooting and called 911. They were not hurt. Police say the shooting had no connection to Zeldin or his family. Zeldin has focused on crime in the state in his campaign.
You can ask me for what my thoughts are of what took place yesterday. I'm pissed. I mean, the fact that my daughters had this traumatizing experience is something that does make me angry. I do want to do something about rising crime in New York. And this is a reason why I got into this race in the first place, is because I believe that the state is heading in the wrong direction.
Governor Hochul tweeting that she has been briefed on that shooting outside of Zeldin's home and that she was relieved that his family was safe. She did praise police for their quick response. A Central New York school superintendent is in trouble following a drunk driving arrest on Friday. The Baldwinsville superintendent's arrest came after this TikTok video showed him crowd surfing face down in the student section at a high school football game. That same evening, Jason Thompson, in his second year as superintendent in Baldwinsville, the viral video and his arrest sparking concern among parents.
I was actually really stunned that there was an adult that was crowd surfing with a bunch of kids. And I guess I was also confused and concerned as to why their adults at the game didn't do or say anything.
The school board did meet tonight about his future, but went into executive session on the matter. Reporters staking out that meeting for hours tonight. We'll bring you any updates as we get them. Still ahead here on Fox Rochester, the effort to reopen schools in areas of Florida hit hard by Hurricane Ian. And the trial getting underway in L.A. for disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein, the allegations he faces in that case.
Our family is wild, crazy, and over the top. Something bad about to happen.
Tuesday at 9 on Fox Rochester.
With cameras everywhere, you can run